Okay, this is a physics question. It's just lengthy, doesn't require much. It says a car starting from rest accelerates uniformly and attains a speed of 80 meters per second in 30 seconds. It maintains this steady speed for another 30 seconds. It then slows down uniformly until it comes to rest in the next 40 seconds. Sketch the velocity time graph for the motion of this car. Obtain from the graph the uniform acceleration during the first stage of the journey and the retardation during the last stage of the journey. For how long did the car travel all together? So now, it first asks that we should sketch the velocity time graph. And if we are to sketch a velocity time graph, we should know that the velocity is for the vertical and the time for the horizontal. So we have this. This is 0. Remember, it says starting from rest. That simply means that the car starts from rest, which is 0, and attains a speed of 80 meters per second, and it accelerated to a speed of 80 meters per second. That simply means that the velocity here is 80 meter velocity meter per second. The velocity here is 80 meters per second. So, and it maintains this steady speed for another 30 seconds. Remember, it attains the speed 80 meters per second in 30 seconds. That is to say that at this side of the graph, which is at the time side of the graph, time in seconds, this is 30. So it maintains this speed for another 30 seconds. For another 30 seconds. If this is already 30 and we already have another 30 seconds, that simply means that this should be 60, right? Yes. And it says it then slows down uniformly until it comes to rest in the next 40 seconds. Now it comes to rest in the next 40 seconds. 40 seconds plus 60 seconds, that should be 100 seconds. So it comes down to rest in the next 40 seconds. Sketch the velocity time graph for the motion obtained from the graph the uniform acceleration during the first stage. Now, we have to obtain from this graph that we have drawn. Now, we have drawn the velocity time graph, which was quite easy. And now we have to obtain the acceleration from this graph. And to do so, we already know that acceleration is change in velocity over time. So we have to find the gradient of this line. The gradient of this line is just the acceleration of this question, and the gradient of this line is same thing as change in velocity in time. So the velocity here, which is from here to here, is 80 degrees. So acceleration equals 80, which is the gradient of this line, over 30. So gradients of a line is just like tan theta. Gradient of a line is the y-axis over the x-axis. So if we have this, we have that acceleration equals, for the first question, acceleration equals 2.67 meters per second square. Remember, the gradient of this is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. y2 here is 80 minus y1 which is 0. x2 is 30 minus x1, which is 0. It's just the same thing as 80 over 30, which is 2.67 meter per second. So for the second question, it says, and the retardation during the last stage of the journey. We have to just use the same formula we use here. The gradient of this line falling down is the retardation. The gradient of this line would give us the retardation, and that would say 80 minus 0 over 100 minus 60. That will give us the gradients of this line. And we have, for the second one, retardation of this line. This line is the retardation, and we should find the gradients of it, which is the retardation. So we have, this is equals to 80 minus 0 over 100 minus 60, and this is 80 over 40, and this is 2 meter per second square. That simply means that the car, in every second, it decelerates with 2 meter per second. That is just the simple definition of 2 meter per second square as a retardation. While for the third question, we are asked to find for how long did the car travel all together. You have to find how long the car traveled all together. That is the time. And we already know from the graph that the total time the car traveled is 100 seconds. So the car traveled for 100 seconds. So this is just the simple answer to the question, 100 seconds. Because according to the question, it says in 30 seconds, another 30 seconds, and 40 seconds. So 30 plus 30 plus 40, that is just simply 100.